Hello everyone and welcome to Sir David Wallace Sports Hall, Loughborough University, where history begins. And one of these teams is aiming to make history by reaching the inaugural NBL playoffs on Sunday the 7th of June. It's National Badminton League Match Night 6, Loughborough Sport versus MK Badminton. The fastest racket sport in the world just got faster. I'm Dave Rogers, alongside me once again Neil Cottrill. Neil, back at an old stomping ground of yours today. What's it like to be back?
Well, sometimes since I came to uni here, Dave, so it is really nice to be back. Quite a lot's changed. This building, for once, a fantastic arena for playing badminton, and once the crowd all sort of like fills in, takes the seats, then it's going to be a great spectacle to see tonight.
Well, we hope so. The last regular season fixture still all to play for. Both of these teams can qualify for the playoffs on the 7th of June, but it's a big ask for MK Badminton.
It is. Obviously MK at the bottom of the league at the moment, and they've had a few changes to their team as well, and we've got a few new faces playing on making their NBL debuts tonight, so it's going to be a big ask for them, but as you say, well, this is where history begins. Perhaps some sort of burgeoning careers will be forged tonight.
Well, as we've seen in the NBL so far, absolutely anything is. Loughborough, bottom of the league until the big win against Birmingham Lions last time out. They're currently 4th. Are they on an upward curve?
I think they are. I think their initial position before the last match sort of didn't really match up to their standard and their quality that they've got in the team. And I think it was only a matter of time before they actually came to the party and got a big win under their belt. It'd be interesting to see whether they can go from strength to strength now and sort of get their place in the playoffs and then look to take the title.
Well, just before we took our position, I was speaking to some people from Loughborough. They were actually saying that if they do progress to the playoffs, they fancy playing Surrey in the first round. Surrey, of course, defeated them down at the Smashers home stadium. That's a confident team talking.
It is, and I think they feel a little bit unlucky that a couple of matches could have gone either way in that fixture, and the end result could have been quite different. So obviously they're feeling very confident and up for the fight, and it's amazing what one good win can do and to increase confidence.
Certainly is, but they've still got to get through tonight. They need to better the team the team just below them score. They need to get at least 2 points, and they need to better Birmingham Lions score. As for MK Badminton, they need to win 4-1 or 5-0 and hope that other results go their way. Now, you spoke a little bit earlier, Neil, about changes for both teams. How do you think that'll affect proceedings this evening?
Well, let's say it's given some of these squad players a bit of a chance, and as we know in most sports, sometimes just having that chance can make players play above their normal level. So it'll be interesting to see how they get on. And a really big challenge for some of these guys, playing in a big arena for the first time, and in this sort of level with a big crowd, it'd be good to see how they react to it.
Well, lots of tickets have been sold. There's a real air of expectation around this Loughborough team. Let's have a little rundown of the order of proceedings this evening. We're kicking off with mixed doubles, where Jenny Moore and Marcus Ellis of Loughborough will face Sean Vendy and Jess Pugh. 2 changes in that match. Jenny Moore coming in for Lauren Smith and Sean Vendy coming in for Toby Penty. Of course, Toby and Jess have had a fantastic season with some really big wins. We've seen a lot of changes in the doubles pairs. Could that be a key fixture? And has your expectations of that fixture changed now that the lineups have changed?
Well, initially at the start of the season, we wouldn't have thought that Toby and Jess would be unbeaten in their mixed doubles and taking some big scalps as well. So Milton Keynes will certainly miss them playing in that mixed event tonight. The fact that Sean Vendy's come in and he's one of our top junior players, and he's experienced on a big stage, but at a junior level. So playing with Jess, who's sort of developing her experience all the time, it'd be interesting to see how they both get on.
Well, the lights are out, so it's time for team intros. Loughborough Sport versus MK Badminton, just a couple of minutes away.
Ladies and gentlemen, good evening and welcome to Loughborough. This is where history begins, the final NBL game of the season. Loughborough Sport taking on MK Badminton. Are you here to support Loughborough? Please welcome our opposition. Leading out the opponents tonight, their captain, Peter Mills. Reigning under-19 champion, Sean Vendy. Under-17 European Junior Champion, Jess Pugh. Under-15 European Silver Medalist, Phi Teng Liu. English Nationals semi-finalist, Kirby Ngan. He's been a European Junior Champion, Alex Lane. Five-time national champion, Liz Khan. Scottish international, Paul Van Rijkveld. Substitutes for MK Badminton tonight, Sam Parsons and Molly Chapman. And now, please welcome your Loughborough Sport team. He's got the big hitting game. He's one of our own. It's our captain, Peter Briggs. He's been ranked in the world's top 20 and national champion, Marcus Ellis. ...2015 national finalist and another of Loughborough's own, Jenny Moore. She's winning titles all across Europe. It's Bulgarian star Linda Zachiri. The 11 national junior titles says it all. England's rising star, Chloe Birch. She's a five-time national champion and former world number 5, Jenny Warwick. He's an Olympian with a European silver medal from Sweden, Henry Herskainen. Making his second NBL appearance, the Bucks champion, Greg Mears. Please welcome the substitutes for Loughborough this evening, Vicky Williams, Alex Marriott, Farid Akroom, and George Isherwood. Ladies and gentlemen, your Loughborough team.
Well, it was lights out for the intro, and at the end of this match, it's going to be lights out for one of these teams. Only one of them can progress to the playoffs. The teams shake hands now. As we've said, it is a big ask for MK Badminton. Still a lot of work to do for Loughborough Sport as well, Neil.
Yeah, I think they can't take it for granted that they're definitely going to win this fixture, even though they're playing at home in front of a partisan crowd. Milton Keynes are going to give them a good challenge. As you said before, that some of these players are making their NBL debut, so they've got nothing to lose. They can just go out there and enjoy it. And as we've seen so often in the NBL so far this year, then the format means that anybody can win if they get a decent start and a bit of pressure tells. Then all sorts of things can happen.
The start is key. So just a rundown of the evening's events. Then first up, it's mixed doubles. Jenny Moore and Marcus Ellis of Loughborough taking on Sean Vendy and Jess Pugh of MK Badminton. We then move on to women's doubles. Jenny Walwork and Chloe Birch against Fui Teng Liu and Kirby Ngan. It's their men's singles, Henry Herskinen against Alex Lane. Women's singles, Linda Zachiri facing Liz Can. And finally, men's doubles, Peter Briggs and Greg Mears, who's in for Harley Towler, facing Paul van Rietveld and Peter Mills. But first up, it is the mixed doubles. Loughborough's Jenny Moore and Marcus Ellis against Sean Vendy and Jess Pugh. Loughborough in their purple kits with the white chevron. MK Badminton in the blue and black. We've had a bit of a chat about this one already, so how do you think it's going, Neil?
Well, it's a strange one in the fact that Jess Pugh's the experienced member of the team on the Milton Keynes side. In fact, she's only 17 years old, so it'd be interesting to see how she manages to manage the game, I suppose, and bring Sean into the game, and so he can use his power and his pace around the court. The Milton Keynes pair, the Loughborough pair, again, won't have played much together, if at all. Jenny's coming in, making a debut. She's the team captain for the university side, and so we'll be a little bit nervous. Probably quite a few of her friends here as well, and a bit of expectation to live up to. They're going in as the favourite, so anything can happen.
And both of these teams, of course, will be looking to get the rest of the squad away to a brilliant start. The first event can be so key in these NBL fixtures. If you are joining us for the first time, a very warm welcome to your NBL experience. We play best of 5, first to 9. If it is 2-all and we go to the 5th set, it is the first team or individual to reach 5 points or 3 clear points. There are power plays, there are timeouts, there are substitutions, but we'll get to all of that as and when. In the meantime, we're going to kick off with the mixed doubles. Jenny Moore and Marcus Ellis of Loughborough Sport facing MK Badminton's Sean Vendy and Jess Pugh. Real air of expectation about the place. Excellent support again from the Loughborough faithful. The University Badminton Club were out in force down in Birmingham, and they are back here today. Just the final preparations. Moore and Ellis against Vendy and Pugh. So Jenny Moore to serve first for Loughborough. And a nice confident start there from Jess.
Yeah, it's going to be critical to see how she sort of settles into the game, and the more that she can dictate the type of rallies that they want to play, it'll really help the MK side.
Second shuttle of the night into the net from Jess Pugh, 1-all. Well watched there by Jenny Moore. Gave herself time and watched the shuttle all the way down, 2-1.
seems like there's a bit of nerves out there in the first sort of early exchanges, but as we know in the format, then you can't afford to give too many points away, and, you know, because as soon as a little bit of momentum goes, and before you know it, the game's finished, and we're on to the next set. So it's important that both the new players, both Jenny and Sean, settle down quite quick.
Big swing there from Ellis. That's the first time we've really seen any of the players cut loose.
Yeah, the interesting thing there was a bit of a soft play back to the net to get the lift. Everything so far has been quite fast and flat across the net, so just changing the pace a little bit, just let Marcus get up in the air and hit the big smash down, which is the type of rallies that they want to play.
Into the net there from Loughborough, so MK pegged them back, 3-4. Pugh to serve.
A scrappy game so far. There doesn't really seem to be much of a pattern emerging. Everyone's been a little bit tentative, and you know, really yet to see anyone really take hold of the game.
Nicely done there from Jenny Moore. Interesting, you mentioned Jess Pugh being the more experienced of the two. It's been her that's been initiating all of the conversations with her partner early on in this match too.
And again there, she was really quickly onto the shot in the mid-court, took the pace out, and almost just trying to force the type of rally that they want to play. They want to get the shuttle up to Sean at the back of the court so he can hit down. And then Jess can look to try and take advantage of anything that's loose at the net.
But that one is into the net, so already it's set point here to Ellis and Moore. Nicely done there from Sean, though. Spotted the space at the back of the court. But that is the first set over already. 9-6, Loughborough take it. A nice work there from Marcus Ellis off the serve.
Yeah, I think he used his experience there a little bit. He made Sean wait for the serve until Marcus was ready. When he actually did deliver the serve, it was a little bit loose and a bit wide, and that just left the court open for Marcus to hit the winner and take the first set.
As you mentioned, though, that was a bit of a scrappy first set. No real patterns. Neither of the male partners able to sort of free themselves and play any big power shots. Do you see that that being the way that this match continues?
Yeah, possibly. I mean, I think what the ladies are going to have to start to do is try and play a little bit softer, and the guys as well, just to try and get the shuttle so it actually starts being lifted. At the moment, you know, both the ladies are standing off the net a little bit, just lets that sort of drive in play, and then that's sort of creating a few errors and producing the sort of the pattern that people are trying to play.
So a bit more pace in that early exchange.
Yeah, really Loughborough should have won that point. They had good control of the rally. A really good sort of retrieval shot from Sean there, nice and tight to the net, making it very difficult for Jenny to play anything.
Sharper start for the MK Badminton pair here. 2-0 in the second. With that, Pugh finds the net. 1-2 Loughborough trail. With Marcus Ellis to serve. It's a couple of mistakes early in the second there from Marcus Ellis, so a 3-point advantage here for MK, 4-1.
That's good. As we said before, as soon as the shuttle starts to go down from the back of the court, then the ladies brings the ladies much more into the game. And a good smash from Sean there, and a brilliant kill from Jess, and a really good lead for MK.
Marcus Ellis goes down the line, sets up the point for Loughborough. 2-5 now the score. Jenny Moore to serve. Again, that's well watched by Jenny Moore. That's a big kill there from Marcus Ellis. First time we've really seen him free that right arm. Great shot.
Yeah, you just get the feeling that, when Milton Keynes built up that bit of a lead, then they had to sort of keep that level of momentum, because now Loughborough are back in it, and you feel that if Loughborough take this set, then it's going to be very difficult for Milton Keynes to get anything out.
Well, Marcus Ellis really in the groove now. 2 big kills from that right-hand corner. 5 all from 1-5 down. Well, that's 5 on the bounce for Loughborough Sport here. 6-5 off this Jenny Moore service run. Well, make that 7-5. MK Badminton have lost their range here a little bit.
Yeah, at least that rally was a little bit more positive, that Milton Keynes were actually trying to do something there. I think they were a bit guilty in the points leading up to that last one of just getting the shuttle back over and not really trying to exert any influence on the rally.
Big call there from the line judge, just wide. And MK Badminton end that Jenny Moore service run just in the nick of time to close the gap to 1 point. Jess Pugh to serve, 6-7. And a miss hit there from Vendy brings us to set point for Loughborough Sport, 8-6. Marcus Ellis to serve. Finds the net, but still set point. And the service misses, so Loughborough take a 2-set lead here. 9-6 in the first, 9-7 in the second, and some real character shown there, Neil.
It was. I mean, the big difference there is, Mark, as you said earlier in the game, that Marcus actually started hitting his smash in the back of the court. What that meant was that the lifts, when Milton Keynes were hit towards the back of the court, they had to be really deep. And unfortunately for Milton Keynes, they were just going past the baseline, and maybe 3 or 4 errors of that serve going long and some of the lifts going long as well, which really gifted the game back to Loughborough.
They were 5-1 up. Did Milton Keynes lose that set, or did Loughborough win it?
I think a bit of both. I think Milton Keynes almost forgot how they got the lead in that set, and just sort of went into the shells a little bit rather than really trying to express themselves and try and win the game. They tried not to lose it.
Big swing from Ellis there. The return is long, so Loughborough take the first point of the third. And this time it's Loughborough Sport who go long. A bit too much on that one from Jenny Moore, so 1-all, Jess Pugh to serve. Jess has probably found the net more times than she'd have liked to this evening.
Yeah, I think she's feeling the pressure a little bit. I think, you know, the way that the game's gone so far, then she probably feels like she needs to be doing a little bit more. That shot really wasn't there to go for. A bit, you know, that Jenny was around the net, so if it had gone over, there's a bit more pressure. And she just needs to relax a little bit and start to play her own game.
Nice work from Sean Vendy at the net there, pouncing on the serve. Again, finding the space at the back of the court. 2-all Vendy serves. Nice response there from Jess Pugh. Kills the shuttle after a lesser spotted Vendy smash. MK3, Loughborough 2 in the third. MK Badminton building up a bit of momentum here off this Pew service run. But there it is, the commentator's curse.
Well, you know, the last few rallies, the big keep the shuttle flat and, you know, not lift into the back of the court. As soon as the lift comes in, Marcus smashes, and then they've turned it over again. So we've really got to try and play to a pattern because it's working for them. And as soon as they drift out of that, then it becomes very difficult.
Sean Vendy there trying to mix things up and use the entire width of the court, but the radar not quite there. It goes wide and it's 5-all with Marcus Ellis to serve. That was a shock. Quite a lot of shuttles are going long at that end. Do you think that could be something to do with the court, with the conditions? Loughborough have called the timeout, incidentally.
Yeah, possibly. I mean, in bigger halls, then you know that you quite often get a bit of a drift. You know, I don't think the arena is that big, so that it would be that significant. But maybe there is a little bit. Interestingly, you know, normally when the shuttle goes out the back of the court, maybe once or twice, then you know the players will look to change it to see if they can get one that's like a slightly different speed, even though it will be within a range of speeds. But you know, it was almost like 7 or 8 points before the shuttle was changed, which is a little bit unusual.
That's the timeout called. If you are joining us watching the NBL for the first time, the timeout is a new initiative, one of the game changers. So each event, the coach gets a 45-second timeout because, of course, there's such a short turnaround in between sets. This is the third set. Loughborough Sport leading 2-0, but MK Badminton leading 6-5 here with Jess Pugh serving. But the timeout's worked. How often do we see it when a timeout's called? The first point goes to the team who called the timeout. 6-all here. That's beautiful stuff there from Marcus Ellis. Really gave Sean Vendy the run around there.
Yeah, that was more what I was expecting from this game. That, you know, the ladies were playing a little bit of cat and mouse on the net. Neither of them wanting to lift it. It was actually a reasonably good lift from Sean, but Marcus spotted an open space in the corner and had him chasing the full length of the court, and he just didn't make it.
But Moore is short on the serve, so it's 7-all here. A must-win set for MK Badminton, but that's a big mistake. Service into the net. So this is match point for Loughborough Sport. The shuttle drops in, so this is set point for MK, still match point for Loughborough. Could be a huge turning point here in this one. And MK have taken the set. Bit of uncertainty from Marcus on the serve, and MK closed the gap much better from the mixed pair there.
Well, that's a fantastic serve from Jess Pugh then. Marcus was standing right on the short service line looking to kill anything that was slightly loose, so a real big challenge on match point down to get the serve to that level of accuracy over the tape, you know, and deserved to take the set then.
Jess Pugh's serve has played a really important part in the match so far, hasn't it? Obviously they took a 5-1 lead off a Jess Pugh service run in the second before Loughborough took advantage, and they won the majority of their points in the third of her serve too. She really needs to get it right in this fourth.
Absolutely. The first 4 shots within any sort of the doubles events are absolutely critical in terms of not giving points away, gaining an advantage in the rallies. And that was the first time we had a little bit of sort of considered defensive play from the Milton Keynes pair there. And they were actually moving the shuttle around, waiting for their opportunity, which they took really well.
Once again, Vendy with the smash. Jess Pugh like lightning on the return, and she kills the point, 2-0.
It's almost like taking that last set has given them a little bit of boost of confidence, and they're starting to play a little bit better. So this could be interesting now.
But that's great work from Marcus Ellis, pouncing on the short shuttle and getting Loughborough Sport off the mark in the fourth. 1-2, Jenny Moore to serve. Bit of confusion there.
Yeah, I think he regretted lifting it as soon as he'd done it, and you could see by the body language then he could have played it nice and flat up the line there and just waited for a lift.
But MK Badminton strike back and regain the lead early in the fourth. 3-2, Vendy to serve. Absolutely awesome defence from the Loughborough pair there. Sean Vendy really trying to turn the screw, but didn't they deal with that well?
They did. Good, solid defence from the Loughborough pair. It was nice to see that that Sean was actually trying to do something a little bit different from the back of the court, changing his angles a little bit, and just an unfortunate error at the net from Jess.
But Jess Pugh bounces back. It's a good recovery from her, settling into this game nicely. 4-all in the fourth. A miss hit there from Vendy. Loughborough sneak back into the lead. It's Jenny Moore to serve. 5-4. Really nip and tuck this fourth set. A bit less cagey than the first, but very evenly poised.
That's really good play from Jenny Moore there. Anticipated the fact that Sean was going to push off the net, took a step back and smacked it into the empty court for a really good winner.
And Loughborough call for the power play. Another one of the game changers. This shuttle is worth 2 points to Loughborough, but just 1 to MK Badminton should they win the point. If Marcus Ellis wins the point off this serve, it will set a match point for Loughborough. They could take a 1-0 lead in this key event. And that's a great combo. Ellis smash, more finishes the job. Match point.
Yeah, the Milton Keynes player were really cagey then in that rally, not wanting to lose it, whereas, Loughborough were going all out to try and create that match point, as you mentioned.
Well, Marcus Ellis serves for the match, but Jess Pugh is on it, 8-6.
That was a dreadful serve from Marcus. Luckily, they've got a couple of spare match points, but he might live to regret that one.
Well, we usually see the dreadful serves on the power play, don't we? But not a great one there from Marcus. And Milton Keynes still surviving this match, 7-8. They were match point down in the third, remember, and they held their nerve to win that. Well, Jess Pugh has absolutely risen to the occasion here. Timeout called, 8-all. Set point to MK Badminton, match point to Loughborough. Big moment here, Neil.
It is, and I dread saying that the last couple of rallies, that Jess Pugh's low serve has been so good throughout the game, and I'm loath to say it now because I'd like to see this go to a decider. But as we said earlier, the next point after a timeout is crucial. So really, really important that Jess gets a decent serve in on this one.
Well, here we go. Loughborough took a 2-0 lead, 9-6, 9-7 in sets 1 and 2. MK Badminton came from match point down to win the third, 9-8, and they've come from 8-6 down.
And the umpire just telling Andy Wood, the head coach of Loughborough, to get off the court. He was taking a little bit longer, maybe a bit of experience there, putting a bit more pressure onto Milton Keynes.
Bit of gamesmanship. Here we go. Jess Pugh to serve. And Milton Keynes have done it. Jenny Moore leaves the shuttle short. They've come back, should I say, from match point down again. That's match points defended in the third and the fourth. They've won both, 9-8. Huge bottle from the MK pair.
That's fantastic, considering these are two young guys as well, playing, in a high-pressure environment, away from home, against a really experienced player such as Marcus Ellis. We did say Marcus might live to regret that loose, low serve on match point, and it did prove to be the case.
Well, this is a 5-point breaker. The first to 5 wins, or the first team to get a 3-point lead. Remember, MK Badminton still have their power play to come. Surprised they've not called it here, actually, but Jess Pugh will serve in the race to 5. Here we go. Big start from MK. They've still not called the power play here, even though if they called the power play, they'd win the match. That was very close indeed, but it was called wide. This is match point to MK Badminton. And they've done it! They have done it. Milton Keynes Badminton have beaten Loughborough Sport in 5 sets in the mixed doubles. Sean Vendy and Jess Pugh were 2 sets down. They were match point down in the third, match point down in the fourth, and they've won the breaker 3-0. What a start to this match.
Well, I mean, after the first sort of set and a half, then we think there's absolutely no way Milton Keynes can get anything out of this game, and they've turned it round. Fantastic serving from Jess Pugh. And I actually think, to answer your question about the power play shuttle, I think they didn't take it because, as we've seen so often, with the pink shuttle flying slightly differently, and the fact that Jess was serving so well, it may well have affected her serve, to serve with the pink shuttle. So they backed Jess's serve, and they've played brilliantly off Jess's serve and taken the game.
So Sean Bendy and Jess Pugh have defeated Jenny Moore and Marcus Ellis 6-9, 7-9, 9-8, 9-8, 3-0 in what is a fantastic comeback. And a real building block for them to kind of move on and maybe achieve what looked like it could be the impossible before this encounter started.
Well, it's game on now. That, you know, Milton Keynes will take real positive benefits from that, and hopefully that for them that will transfer into some of the other games that we've got coming up.
And Jess Pugh continues her phenomenal record in the NBL.
Yeah, absolutely awesome. You know, we said that it was important for her to take the initiative and control what's happening, and that she did exactly that. The first set was a bit shaky, as you know, probably felt a lot of expectation on her shoulders to actually perform, being the unbeaten player on court, and managed to pull Sean through with her.
She certainly did. So Milton Keynes Badminton take a 1-0 lead in this NBL fixture, the final fixture before we move on to the playoffs. Next up, it's women's doubles. Jenny Woolwork and Chloe Birch from Loughborough Sport taking on MK Badminton's Fiteng Liu and Kirby Ngan. How'd you see this one going, Neil?
Well, I dread to say, but on paper the Loughborough pair are by far the strongest. They've had some, you know, they won an international event this season, the Romanian Open. They played really well in the last NBL outing against Birmingham Lions. So, you know, again, you can't see past, you know, Loughborough drawing the match level tonight. That said, the young guys from Milton Keynes, you know, they play together. They're a normal partnership. They play together in the junior nationals and semi-finalists of the senior nationals this year as well. So brilliant result for them breaking through into the senior ranks, especially with Fiteng only being 15 years old, and a big ask, but no pressure.
Just 15 years old, and you say no pressure, and obviously it's a different environment to a lot of the tournaments, but it must do a player of that age the world of good to play tournament competition badminton in front of a great audience at a great venue in a new tournament as well. This can only be good for the player.
If she plays well, yes. Obviously, if it all goes wrong and they get a sound beating here, then that might affect her confidence negatively. But you know, knowing the girls, then you know, I think they'll be up for the challenge and that they'll have a good crack at this.
Women's doubles: Jenny Woolwork and Chloe Birch taking on Fiteng Liu and Kirby Ngan. Quite a tentative start there, Neil.
Yeah, I think the Milton Keynes pair will be a little bit fearful of the power that Loughborough have got, and the big question for me would be whether the Milton Keynes girls can actually get the shuttle down through the experience and solid defence of Loughborough.
Well, that's a steady start for Birch and Woolwork. They lead 2-0 early in the first, looking to get Loughborough back on level pegging. You feel as though the MK girls just need to get off the mark here, don't they?
Yeah, look like they mean business here. I mean, we actually saw it in the game against Birmingham Lions last time out. Then they pretty much used their power to steamroller against Heather Olver and Jess Hopton, and it looks very much like they've started in the same vein, and they're looking to not give the Milton Keynes girls a chance at all here.
Well, they're 5 ahead already. That's a lovely drop shot, showing that it's not all power, there's some real finesse in there too.
Well, the thing is, when you're hitting the shuttle that hard, then the defence backs off a little bit, which leaves space at the front of the court, and she hit a great angle into that space then.
Woolwork and Birch in full control here in this women's doubles first set. They lead 7-0 against the MK pair. Make that 8, so set point here. Woolwork and Birch against Liu and Ngan. Well, 9-love as an opening set. And that is a tough lesson for the Milton Keynes pair there, Neil.
Yeah, that's a pretty impressive first set from Loughborough there. You know, they knew exactly what they were going to do. They just came with massive force and just overpowered the Milton Keynes girls. Big challenge now for them to just to relax and try and enjoy the experience, really, and just see what they can just chip away at this and just have a go. And we saw before that, you know, even though Loughborough started well in the mix, then Milton Keynes came back in, so maybe they can take some heart from that.
And from a Loughborough perspective, it's important not to take your foot off the gas, isn't it? It's sometimes easy to take it, or well, as I say, take your foot off the gas, and then you can really get yourselves in trouble, can't you? So Walwork and Birch need to keep the pedal to the metal here. Fiteng Liu to serve. Apologies, it was Jenny Walwork still serving. Well, that's 10 consecutive points, and Walwork just dominating the net at the moment.
Well, Jenny doesn't play full-time badminton anymore, but you certainly wouldn't tell from the way that she started this game. She looks right up for it, looking for the shuttle really early and being really aggressive and positive.
Once again, it's Jenny Walwork that turns the screw, hammering away from the back of the court. 4-love in the second.
It's really important that the Milton Keynes girls keep their heads up, really, and still try and stay positive. They're looking a bit disillusioned at the moment, and they just need to crack on and just really have a go and take the game to the Loughborough pair.
Well, how can they do that? I mean, that's 15 consecutive points for Loughborough now. And really, the Milton Keynes girls, as you say, they're a young pair. They don't really have an answer. What do they have to do?
Well, at the moment, they're not trying to do anything. I mean, it's almost like they're just prolonging their rallies and see how long they can go for and hope that Loughborough make a mistake. The way that Loughborough started is that they just don't look like they're going to make any mistakes at all.
But that's a lovely drop shot from Liu. Great angle. And they are off the mark, 1-7. It's been a long time coming, but it was a lovely shot for the first point.
I say just mixing up the angles a little bit, mixing up the pace from the back of the court. You know, that if everything's the same, then the Loughborough pair can actually start to predict what's going to happen when they're defending. Whereas if the shot's coming into different parts of the body, then you know there's an increased chance of an error, and as happened then.
Long rally and a sad way to end it. It's a bit more grit there from the Milton Keynes pair, but they don't really seem to have the power to hit through Loughborough. No,
obviously, as I say, these are young girls, and you know their strength will develop as they get older. But they actually played quite a nice rally there. They had a couple of chances, but where maybe they could have been a bit more positive. But you know, as you said before, it's very difficult against a pair that are just coming for you all the time.
And the shuttle goes wide, so Loughborough Sport take the second 9-2. Having taken the first 9-love, so that's a 2-0 lead, and it's looking as though Loughborough Sport will be back on level pegging following this women's doubles. So assuming, I know that's a dangerous word in sport, but assuming the pattern continues and Loughborough Sport are victorious here, what can the Milton Keynes pair learn from a match like this?
Well, I think next time they're in an environment like this, they'll know what to expect. I mean, I think you know, sometimes you play in sport, you play against people who are just better, bigger, stronger, faster, you know, whatever it is. And unfortunately for the Milton Keynes girls, then Loughborough are playing in that very much in that way today. You know, the next time they're in this sort of situation, then they may play slightly differently, and there'll be different players themselves with more training and better preparation.
It's over. 1-all.
Well, the early lead is cancelled out in the third. It's 1-all. And once again, it's Jenny Warwork, real powerhouse player.
Well, that was her trademark when she played mixed doubles with Nathan Robertson. Then she was so strong from sort of the back and into the mid-court, and then just coming into the net looking for a kill, and is really strong and has been a feature of this game so far today.
Into the net from Gann. 3-1, Birch to serve.
Service over. 2-3.
That's a mistake from Birch with that heavily strapped right shoulder.
Service over. 4-2.
The teams exchange mistakes, so 4-2 to Loughborough.
5-2. Service over. 3-5.
Perhaps a bit of complacency from Loughborough here as the mistakes are starting to creep in. 3-5. Oh, that's a lovely angle there, though.
Yeah, it's nice to see that the Loughborough guys have been so powerful and so strong, but there's still been a lot of control, a lot of finesse in the game as well. So they can play against all different types of opponents if they can play those sorts of shots.
Birch snatched at that one, though. Opportunity goes begging, so just 2 in this here. 4-6 in the third with Liu to serve. Once again, Loughborough in complete control of the rally. Jenny Warwork with the finish. And here goes the power play. They're looking to finish the job with the 2-point power play, which would make it 9-4 should they win it. Must-win point here for MK. And Liu finds the net, so Jenny Warwork and Chloe Birch have defeated Thiteng Liu and Kirby Ngan. 9-0, 9-2, 9-4, and a comprehensive victory there for the Loughborough pair, Neil.
Yeah, there was a bit of a lesson there, wasn't it, from the experienced pair. Jenny Warwick's been in the top 5 in the world in mixed doubles, just to put into perspective really about the size of the task that the young Milton Keynes pair faced. They actually performed quite well in some of the rallies.
Welcome the officials to your next game.
They weren't a million miles away, but in terms of that sort of the clinical finishing of the rally and that level of power and control, then there's still some way to go for them.
Well, as you mentioned before, power is something that can only develop as you get older.
Match is the
And
men's
to
singles,
hit a 15-year-old up
representing MK
against someone who
Badminton,
you said was
Alex
top
Lane.
5 in the world, it was always going to be a big ask, wasn't it?
It was, and Loughborough would look at the fixture and think, well, this is one of the games that we're going to bank on winning. So,
Henry Herskainen.
I think the Milton Keynes girls, they got into the game and they did themselves some credit, so they should take heart in that. And as you said before, build on it for the future.
Absolutely. Well, it is 1-1 now. Milton Keynes Badminton took the mixed doubles. Loughborough have just bounced back in the women's doubles. Next up, it is men's singles. Henry Herskainen for Loughborough Sport. Real fans' favourite is Henry, taking on Alex Lane. What do you make of this one?
Well, You've got to fancy the Hoover to win.
Three winning raffle numbers, prizes to be
Henry's
collected
got
from the
himself a
Loughborough
nickname
Sport
amongst the
stand
Loughborough faithful,
at the
and
main entrance. Ticket numbers
just
are
off camera at the moment, there's a guy
116,
actually hoovering the side of the court.
66 and 60.
On paper again, you'd fancy Henry. You know, he's
Winning
performed
tickets
very
for the
well in the
raffle
NBL so
again,
far. He's a quality player. He does have the
60,
propensity just to switch off and just have a little dream around for a little while. But in terms of his racket skills and his speed and his
prizes
deception, he's a phenomenal.
from the Loughborough Sport stand at the main entrance.
Well, Ben Beckman gave him a very good match in the last encounter against Birmingham Lions, didn't he? But ultimately, he just found a way to win the match.
He did, and you know, good players do that in whatever sport, don't they? If they have moments where they lack a little bit of concentration, but they can switch it on when it gets really, really tight.
So next up, men's singles, Henry Herskainen of Loughborough Sport in the purple kit with a white chevron, taking on Alex Lane of MK Badminton in the blue and black. The winner of this match will put their team back into the lead, but this is nicely poised.
It is. You know, Alex is the type of singles player that Henry might have a bit of trouble with. I mean, he hasn't got any sort of big weapons, a big massive smash or lots of deception, but he is quick, he covers the court well, he retrieves well, so he might be the type of player that might frustrate Henry if you know, if he can keep the shot in court and put a bit of pressure on.
I'll tell you one thing, if Henry does get frustrated, we won't be able to tell.
No, he's a cool character, you know, the stereotypical Scandinavian, you know, going back to the tennis players from Sweden in the past, but he doesn't give much away, but he's certainly a very, very talented singles player.
Well, Henry Herskainen will serve first. Here we go. Just wide with the first one, the left-hander. So Alex Lane takes the first point of this men's singles match. Herskainen strikes straight back, miss hit from Alex Lane, 1-all. Two sharp shots there. He looks up for this one.
He does. He's got such good control of his racket. Then you know, finishes one shot and his racket's immediately in position for the next one, which makes it really difficult to read what he's going to do.
Quick court coverage there from Alex Lane. Couldn't quite get enough on it to return it. But sharp movement nonetheless. 3-1. Herskainen leads. Lane really cut loose there, didn't he? Couldn't quite direct it correctly, but good power. Shuttle just long, which was a shame because that was a lovely rally, Neil.
Yeah, he kept himself in it well, and I think if Alex is going to be successful in the game, he needs more rallies like that, where he's going to extend Henry a little bit, make him play a few extra shots, and ultimately Henry will hit a few errors.
And speaking of which, into the net from Herskainen there, 2-5. That was a good spot, Neil, I'll give you that one. 2-5, Alex Lane to serve. Just wide there from Herskainen, so 3-5. Alex Lane on the comeback trail here. Unforced error there from Herskainen, just trying to drop one over the net. Falls just short, so just 1 point in it now. 3 in a row for Alex Lane, 4-5. Great pressure there from Lane. Moved Haskainen all over the court before finishing the job. Great work from the MK man.
Yeah, the word pressure that you used by is exactly right. That Alex needs to keep the pressure on him, needs to keep close to him in terms of the score, but also pressure on him in the rally, so he's not giving him the opportunity to take the shuttle early, and he's chasing, so Alex is dictating what the rallies are.
Well, that's 4 points in a row now, from 1-5 down to 5-all. Here comes Henry Haskainen. Wins the point to put himself back in front, 6-5.
That was okay. You know, Alex will think, actually, well, Henry is going to hit the shuttle on the floor, is going to hit it through him because he's a quality player. But that type of rally, then that's, you know, Alex can build from that.
Could do without mistakes like that, though. Finds the net on the service return. 7-5, Henry Haskainen leads in the first set. Lane gets a bit of luck off the net. Haskainen trying to be too cute with the angle. Didn't quite get enough on. It's 6-7, really intriguing first set here. Lane to serve. That's a great angle from Haskainen. There aren't many players that can generate that power from that angle.
Now, the way he hits the shuttle is very, very similar to how the Chinese players, especially the singles players, hit the shuttle. So, you know, he can generate an awful lot of pace onto the shuttle with very little racket movement.
This is set point. A great defense from Haskainen, forces Lane wide with the smash, and the Loughborough man takes the first set 9-6. Neil, is that how you expected that one to go? Not necessarily the score, but the way the set developed.
Pretty much. I think, you know, the rallies will generally be either Henry hitting a winner or an error. And I think, you know, Alex can actually take advantage of that. So he's not out of this game by any stretch, as we've seen in Henry's previous games. You know, he does have this sort of habit of switching off. So if Alex can get a decent start in the second set and play a few nice long rallies and start to believe that he can actually do something, then he's still in with a chance.
Well, Haskainen took the first set, best of 5, remember, first to 9 in each set. Quick change of ends. It'll be Haskainen to serve. Into the net early from Lane, so Haskainen strikes first. Well, you said it would be Haskainen hitting a winner or a mistake, and we've had 2 mistakes early in the second. It's 1-all.
If Alex can sort of stay with him in those rallies and get one more shuttle over than Henry, then he, like say, he has got a chance. But at the same time, Henry's got the skill to be able to do that sort of shot at any time.
That's a glorious touch. Glorious touch from Henry Haskainen. The left-hander giving it just enough to tip it over the net. 2-1 he leads. He reacts quickly to smash that left hand through the shuttle and take a 3-1 lead. In full control of that rally from start to finish.
Fantastic deception from Henry again there. Presented so early at the net, looked like he was going to play a straight net shot. Flicked it cross court, and Alex had no answer to it.
That's another mistake from Alex Lane. He was in control there. He was in full control. He'd run Herskainen all around the court, but couldn't control the finish. And that's a 4-point lead now for Herskainen.
Yeah, he's really got to take those opportunities when he's created them. He's worked hard for it, and then he just blew it at the last minute. He's got to stay with him.
And that's a good start. Great kill there from Alex Lane. Remember, he was 1-5 down in the first set before bringing it back to 5-all. Just wide there from Herskainen. Generated a bit more power than he'd have liked. 3-5. Once again, Herskainen, when he gets it right, it's a joy to watch. Not just the finish, but the way Alex Lane was really working hard to get it on that backhand side and just kept control the whole time. Great play.
Yeah, it looks even worse because he looks so cool doing it as well. There's no emotion at all. Brilliant shot.
But that's better from Alex Lane. Henry Herskainen trying to be cute with the return. But enough power on it from the Milton Keynes man to catch Herskainen out and to stay in touch. 4-6. Important few points coming up here.
Yeah, and you know, again, if you look at the pattern of how these rallies have gone, as soon as once Alex can stay in the rally, then generally Henry makes the mistake. So he's really got to try and build those long rallies.
It's another great example of that. A few good defensive shots from Alex Lane, and it's almost as though Herskainen runs out of patience, isn't it, and tries to force something spectacular.
Yeah, it's almost like he's got so many shots that he could play. Sometimes he doesn't know which, you know, he wants to go for something that's quite technical because he can. You know, plays a lot of shots that other people can't even dream of.
Well, Alex Lane's called the power play here. This would put him in the lead. He's 5-6 behind. This is the 2-point shuttle. But Herskainen reacts the quickest at the net. Cuts off the danger at source and takes a 7-5 lead.
Well, I think I even saw a bit of a fist pump from Henry there, so I think he quite liked that kill at the net then.
Shh, don't tell anyone. You'll ruin the mystique. Herskainen leads 7-5 in the second. Shuttle called out. Big call by the line judge, so set point. 8-5, Herskainen leads. Into the net from Lane, so Herskainen takes a 2-set lead. 9-6 in the first, 9-5 in the second. We talk about momentum all the time. Was that power play a real turning point in this match?
It was. I think if Alex could have nicked it, then we may have been looking at a different result at the end of this second set. But see, now Henry's tails up. He's got a 2-set lead. Difficult task for Alex now, but as we said before, we've seen Henry switch off in games, but at the same time we've also seen him stick the shuttle on the floor from all parts of the court. So, you know, Alex doesn't know what's going to happen, but we do know if he can make the rallies long and put a bit of pressure on, he's got a bit of a chance.
Well, we have seen him switch off in the NBL. What we haven't seen yet is anyone who can get past Henry Herskainen in this National Badminton League. He's undefeated so far He's had some big opposition too. Alex Lane takes the first point of the third set. And once again, the long rally ends up in an Alex Lane point into the net from Herskainen, and it gives me great pleasure to welcome Marcus Ellis to the commentary box. Marcus, how are you doing?
Yeah, I'm really good, thanks.
Can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you fine.
That is a good start. Well, speaking of good starts, you had one in your match, didn't you? Couldn't quite get over the line, though. How did that... Well, what was the turning point, really? You must be a little bit disappointed with that one.
Yeah, obviously we're absolutely gutted that we didn't manage to win it, but it just shows this league how quickly things can change around, and we were in complete control, and it just takes a couple of points in someone's favour and then the whole match changes.
Well, interesting you should say that, because Henry Herskainen, he's not had a great start to this third set. 3-0 to Alex Lane. It's amazing how quickly the momentum can change, isn't it?
Yeah, I think with the scoring just being to 9 points, it really is anybody's game, and I think sometimes, no matter what your standard, I think you really can pull off some surprises in here.
Just short there from Alex Lane, so Herskainen off the mark. 1-3 in the third. Neil, much better start from Alex here.
Yeah, I think all the way through so far he's been targeting Henry's backhand quite a lot. He's attacking down and pushing it deep into that backhand corner. But it's almost like he's getting a little bit of success now, and his tail's up a little bit. He looks to be a little bit more confident, so he's up for this game.
Well, he's 4-1 up. This is the first time he's led during this event. That one goes wide. Marcus, Henry, he's got some shots, hasn't he? Great player to watch.
Yeah, his shot quality is world class. It really is. You watch him time and time again. Even in this first 2 sets here, he's really been incredible. And Alex has really struggled to even retrieve his shots, never mind do anything with them. So yeah, it's always going to be a difficult task for Alex. But it seems in this set he's actually doing a really great job in trying to handle that.
Well, a big kill there from the high lift. Herskainen wants the shuttle changed.
Alex was in nice and early at net, played really tight spinning net shot, and Henry did well to even get the shuttle over, but it just went straight up in the air, making it relatively straightforward for Alex to win.
That's a great finish from Herskainen. Again, both players all over the court, but the Loughborough man shows his class. Marcus, after a difficult start for the franchise, Loughborough Sport really seemed to have adapted to this NBL format just at the right time.
Yeah, I think the first 2 matches we played were really tough on us. I mean, it wasn't like we played badly and we just came out on the wrong end. And we are slowly getting back into things, and results are starting to go our way. But hopefully our only aim is to qualify for the finals, and if we do, then it's we start afresh again, and at the finals anything can happen.
It certainly can. Well, it's 6-3 here in the third. Alex Lane leading Henry Herskainen, but he's 2-0 down in the match. Have you all kind of had the calculators out, working out what you need to achieve to get there?
Yeah, they've told us to try not to do it too much. Stop looking on Twitter and all the other social sites, trying to find out what's going on in the other matches. Just focus on this match here.
Well, the shuttle goes long, so Herskainen closes the gap. 4-6 now in the third. We've actually not been privy to any of the scores at the other venues at the moment, but fantastic indictment of the league that all 6 teams still have the opportunity to qualify on the final match night of the regular season.
Yeah.
Beautifully done again from Henry Haskainen. This is a question to both of you here. How is it that some players just look like they have more time before they have to play their shots? Haskainen looks to me like one of those players, just has all the time in the world.
He reads the game very well, so he's starting to move to parts of the court before or as his opponent's hitting the shuttle. But I think just the way that he hits it, he presents his racket so early to the shots, it looks like the shot's taken ages to actually play, but then what that does, it gives him the opportunity to change what he's doing, to try and send his opponent the wrong way, and he can, from that position then, he can start hitting lots of different angles, and I think being left-handed as well, the shuttle's slicing in a slightly different way, and it's coming down from different parts of the court, so it's quite often really hard to read.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think he always plays the right shot. I think that's the biggest thing. He always plays shots that never put him in any trouble. And I think that's the biggest strength of Henry's.
Well, he may not play the shots, but he is in trouble here. He's set point down. Alex Lane really raised his game here. 8-5 he leads. And a rare mistake there from the Loughborough man. Alex Lane takes full advantage and closes the gap. 5-9. He takes the third. He still trails 2-1, but a little bit of hope for him here, Neil.
Yeah, as you said before, then he's clearly targeting his backhand side, and in that last rally just showed it. He sort of popped it on his forehand, then drove across him onto his sort of round the head, almost trying to hit it into that backhand corner. And he's just coughed up a few errors in the set, and at the same time, Alex is getting a little bit more confidence. He's frustrating Henry a little bit, and that's his best bet, to try and play some longer rallies and try and force Henry into an error.
So Alex Lane takes the third. He trails Henry Haskainen 2-1. Best of 5, remember, first to 9. Lane will serve first in the 4th. He finds the net with the first point. So Haskainen leads 1-0. Marcus, just a quick word about the Loughborough University Badminton Club. They seem to be giving you some great support. They were down in numbers at Birmingham last time out, and they're really getting behind the guys tonight as well, aren't they?
Yeah, they're a great bunch. They really are. There might be a few more supporters in other places, but they certainly make up for it with spirit and really good banter anyway.
And they had a pretty good season themselves, didn't they?
Yeah, I think they are doing very well. But again, I think every sport that Loughborough backs, they always end up doing really well.
Well, Henry Haskainen, absolutely lightning start to this 4th. He's 3 to the good. Glorious finish again, and an actual genuine fist pump and a show of emotion, the lesser spotted show of emotion. It must be tough for Alex Lane though, because he's grafting really hard in these rallies, isn't he?
He is, and he's having to, because that's his chance. He's got to play one more shot than Henry all the time, and when you've got someone who's as deceptive as Henry, then just having to move that quickly when you can't read what he's going to do, it's going to take a real physical toll on him. But he's a fit boy, he's used to that. That's how he trains in Milton Keynes, and that's his game. So he's still in there fighting.
Timeout's been called. Marcus, how has the introduction of the timeouts affected the way you play and the way you think during the games?
I think often the coaches are the ones who are calling it. It's not going to be because you're tired or anything physical. It's mainly just to either make your opponent think about what's coming up, or if you're having a bit of a bad time, they'll call it just to calm you down and regroup. And I think that's what Milton Keynes have just done here with Alex.
Well, Very often we see the team that call the timeout win the next point. Let's see how this one unfolds. Once again, there it is. The magic done by the coaches, just stunting the momentum. And Lane closes the gap, 2-4 in the fourth. I do apologise, the last point was 1-4, but now it's 2-4. We'll put that down to commentators' intuition, shall we? So Lane still serving in the fourth, 2-4. Exchange at the net there before Lane hits wide. Herskainen leading 5-2. Remember, if he wins this set, he wins the match, and Loughborough take the lead 2-1 in the fixture.
Actually, Henry is still yet to use his power. Oh, it looks like he's going to use it now.
Well, we'll put that one down to players' intuition then. The power play, the 2-point shuttle with the pink tip. Big crowd favourite here, one of the game changers that the NBL has introduced. There we can see the pink tipped shuttle. Herskainen serves. Should he win this point, it'll be match point in his favour. And in full control of the rally from start to finish, Herskainen wins the power play point. Match point. Loughborough Sport.
It's interesting, Alex played a really cagey rally there, not wanting to give it away, but Henry took full advantage.
That's much better from Alex Lane, though, to stay in the match. Giving Herskainen's defence a real workout before killing the shuttle, making it 3-8. Still match point, though, to the Loughborough man. And Herskainen finishes with style. A sliced kill, and he defeats Alex Lane 9-6, 9-5, 5-9, 9-3. Loughborough Sport take the lead 2-1 overall on the night. Marcus Ellis. That's 3 events gone, Marcus. You've won the men's singles, you've won the women's doubles. Unfortunately, you were defeated in 5 in the mixed doubles, not to rub it in, obviously. You're in a decent place in this fixture, though.
Yeah, I think going into these last 2 matches, I think we do have a good chance in both. The men's doubles is definitely going to be tricky. That's the last match on. But I think this women's singles coming up, I think it's going to be a good game. Hopefully Linda can finish it off for us. And I think if we do take this last match, I think that'll put us over the line, I think.
Linda Zachary versus Liz Khan next up in the women's singles. Before we move on, let's have a little bit of a chat about the power play. Neil mentioned that it was a cagey rally from Alex, and we do see players playing differently when the pink shuttle is active. Why is that? How has it affected you in your NBL matches so far?
I think it's something you have to get used to. It's not necessarily something that you mean to get affected by, but people just seem to. But actually, if you're the one serving, you only have everything to gain, and if you lose, you only actually lose 1 point. So it is really, you're right, it's very strange how it affects people, but I think I'm starting to get used to it now.
I think it's a bit tougher for the doubles players as well, because obviously when you're, especially if you're serving, because there's so much pressure on the serve normally anyway, you know, so that there's so little margin for error, and quite often you see you know, either a flick serve that goes long or a low serve that goes in the net. So I think the singles players have got a bit easy on that side.
Yeah, I think that like the service situation is very much more tense affair in doubles, but again, you still see it in the singles as well. They go very passive and they don't try and win the rally. They're just hoping that their opponents are going to make a mistake. And I think the people who adapt to it the quickest and just even go more aggressive are the ones who will be successful.
So Neil, we'll have Marcus's partisan view in a minute, but women's singles up next. Linda Zachiri against Liz Can. How do you see this one going?
I think every time I've seen Linda play so far, I've said, you know, she's the favourite on paper. She's been a bit unfortunate in, you know, that some of the ladies that she's played against have played, you know, above where they would normally do, and actually played really well against her. I think, again, on paper, you'd fancy Linda to win, but you know, Liz is very experienced. She's played on big stages a lot of occasions, and she'll fancy her chances in this because of what's happened in previous games.
Marcus, would you agree with that one?
Yeah, I think Liz will fancy her chances purely on what has happened in previous matches, but Linda should be okay for this one. I think she should have the edge on Liz purely because Liz just isn't training as much as she used to.
Do you feel as though if Liz is going to win, it has to be in 3?
I think the shorter the game, the better for Liz, I think.
Linda Zachiri versus Liz Can in the women's singles. Zachiri serves first. And that's a confident start from the Loughborough player. A lot of movement going on in the arena. That's a confident start from Linda Zachiri. 3-love in the first. But Liz Can off the mark, just long there from Zachiri. And that's good power there from the Loughborough singles player. A bit too hot to handle for Liz Can. Zachiri leads 4-2 early in the first. couple of mistakes from Zachary here, and all of a sudden Liz Khan is in this first set. A bit tentative from both players.
Yeah, she started off quite well, but it was almost like had a bit of a blip in concentration and made a couple of errors, which has given Liz a little bit of confidence and sort of got back in it.
Well, she snapped back into the lead as Linda Zachary. Remember, a win here in the women's singles would guarantee Loughborough a win in this fixture. But will that be enough to win a place in the playoffs? Just wide there from Zachary, and a bit of a look of frustration on her face then as she made her way back. Here comes Liz Khan with the power play. Big call here. Remember, if she wins it, she'll take an 8-6 lead, and that'll be set point. The shuttle drops in. That's two. That's two shuttles that Linda Zacharias thought were going long and allowed them to drop in. This is set point for Liz Khan. What a start this would be for the MK player. That's wide from Liz Khan. So Zachary still in this one. 7-8 she trails, still set point. What a rally to end the set, and what a shot to finish it on. Liz Khan takes the first against Linda Zachary, 9-7.